You've probably never heard of the Sofia Stock Exchange, but here's why it's one of the most dynamic stock exchanges in Eastern Europe, and why you may want to consider investing in Bulgaria and in Bulgarian capital markets. Now, to set a disclaimer in motion, I am not affiliated with the Sofia Stock Exchange. I have no interest in you necessarily getting involved in the Sofia Stock Exchange. I believe that a lot of the companies on the Sofia Stock Exchange are interesting. However, this is not financial advice. This is not something that I gain anything from. And of course, with the Sofia Stock Exchange, it is interesting as it's one of the most capitalized in Eastern Europe. And while many people will state that Eastern European companies are categorically very risky, I would say that that's not inherently the case, as a lot of Bulgarian banks and other companies listed on the Bulgarian Stock Exchange are trading at extremely low price to earnings and price to book value and price to just about every metric you can imagine. And EBITDAs are insane, and margins are insane in Eastern Europe. Additionally, Eastern Europe, much like the Asian capital markets, loves dividends, and they will pay out dividends to their investors. Additionally, if you hold Bulgarian stocks for longer than a certain period of time, you are given that investment tax-free. Now, of course, it also depends where you reside. If you reside in a country where capital gains is inevitably charged, you will be charged capital gains, which, of course, is why I talk about jurisdictions here all the time and their tax systems. However, I believe that a lot of the Bulgarian banks are very interesting, as they are highly competitive on a global stage in terms of capital appreciation, loan balances, and overall metrics you wouldn't think that Eastern European banks would be good at. And of course, as time goes on, I believe that this will only strengthen, as European banking culture inherently is very conservative. While I think that realistically, categorically, a lot of the banks are undervalued, I believe that they will stay undervalued as well. And this is not some 1 to 2 year flip. So if you're looking to swing trade, don't get into emerging markets. These time horizons you're looking at are 5 to 10 to even 50 years in the future. And even then, you may be getting most of your return through dividends. Now, this is not inherently bad, actually, as it is a cash flow motivator, and it is a way to create cash while you're waiting for your stock to appreciate. And, of course, I cannot give specific financial advice. However, as time goes on, I believe that Bulgarian capital markets will deeply appreciate and will get much deeper. And as that happens, you will see a lot more interest in Bulgarian companies. You will see a lot more depth to the Bulgarian stock market. And with this, you will see a lot more people getting involved. Now, I've been one to say, don't chase the hype, and I believe that wholeheartedly. However, Bulgaria is not necessarily a hyped destination. Liechtenstein is not a hyped destination. Luxembourg is more hyped, but not as deeply so. And so, of course, when I say these things, I look at this jurisdiction and how it is looking in the future. And while I believe there are some potential black swan events that could happen in the near future in Bulgaria, that only gives deeper discounts on valuations, that only gives deeper discounts on how things will react to the Black Swan event, and I am sidelining a lot of capital for the next few years, as I believe that valuations are indeed high, especially in the West, and I believe that the capital markets are overextended. Now, this is my thesis. Do your own research. I am not giving you financial advice. However, as I look towards new frontiers, as I look towards creating lasting value, I believe that there is benefits to creating a portfolio of large amounts of diversified investments in diversified countries. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that you need to diversify too much. I believe in what Warren Buffett says: know what you're investing in and understand what you're investing in. However, if you do understand the fundamentals of financial analysis and banking, which if you're on my channel, I assume you do, the Bulgarian stock market is extremely interesting, and especially the Sofia Exchange. And of course, where this becomes even more interesting is if you take a large enough position, there is a potential for you to get citizenship by exception. And if you get citizenship by exception, of course, you are in essence able to create this stack of investments that lead to citizenship. And of course, this is something I always believe in. This is something that I have preached throughout my whole channel. And so, of course, I will recommend you do that in this instance. Now, the capital markets in Bulgaria are quite different to what they are in most of the EU and even the US. However, that's an arbitrage opportunity waiting to happen. And additionally, they still have the lev. Now, they're changing to the euro on the 1st of January 2026, which we will see what happens. I will revisit this idea when I'm back and they've adopted the euro. However, I of course believe that even with the euro, it will be a good investment. It will create massive amounts of value here in the next few years. And while that massive value is created, that is the time to get in. If you're looking for arbitrage opportunities like this, and you want to learn about deep capital markets, and you want to learn about any of these things, feel free to subscribe. If you are looking to create value with your company through global arbitrage, feel free to book a call down below in the description. And if you liked this video, feel free to leave a like. If you really liked this video, feel free to share it with your friends. This has been the Traveling Report, signing off.